Parents are skipping meals to feed their kids because wages don't give enough for the rising cost of fucking living and the prices of food these days. I'm honestly so sorry that this is happening to you, and there are so many people out there that are struggling as well. The sad truth is, it's not going to get any better, it's going to get worse. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again, find a way to make more money and start growing your own veggies and do everything you can, pretty much just to survive now. It's like the fucking Hunger Games. May the odds be ever in your favor.
We literally only have like 3 proper meals a week now.
This is actually so backwards. Definitely feels like the bloody Hunger Games, alright.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living on the average American salary? I just watched a TikTok of a teacher who makes a teacher's salary. I don't know what state she's in, so I don't know how much she makes, but her 1-bedroom apartment is $2,000. And when she spends $2,000 on that 1-bedroom apartment, it doesn't even come with a washer and dryer. So she has to go pay an additional $2 every time she wants to use their washer and dryer. Okay, like, how does that leave her any extra money to spend? And then she said she had a $400 car payment, which some people were bashing her on that. But in today's economy with interest rates, that's really not that bad. And I'm sure she needs a dependable car. So you talk about teacher's salary, $2,000 in rent, $400 car payment. You got insurance, you got groceries, electricity. Like, I don't understand how people are affording life right now, and it really makes me sad for some people. You have people who are like her. She's single, she has her own salary, or families where it just works out best for them for the mother to stay home. And if the father is just making an average American salary, how are they affording life without going in a bunch of debt? This lady who's a teacher started crying because she said she realizes on her salary and where she lives, she will actually end up in more debt. Then, like, she will just continue to accrue more debt and more debt and more debt because her salary is not matching the cost of living. And what's sad is I've seen people be like, just spend less. Listen, guys, the cost of living is rising and our salaries are stagnant, okay? So there's not just spend less. That's not the problem here. The problem is the cost of living is outrageous, and minimum wage in some states is still $7.25. Teachers in some states are still paid a ridiculously low salary, even though their job is super important. I don't know what we can do about this, but I'm just going on a rant because it really, really pisses me off.
I literally just got paid and I have nothing left for 2 weeks. I make $100K and looking for a part-time job.
It costs $300 just to step outside your front door.
My mom had the audacity the other day to try and tell me the economy is getting slowly better. And I'm like, on what planet are you even living? Teacher here, I don't even have extra money anymore. I have to skip bills, decide if I want food or gas. My rent takes 3/3 of my monthly income.
UK is finished. If you're currently living in the UK, you might want to reconsider because it's about to get a whole lot worse. So this graph shows you the standard of living in the UK, and it predicts it over the next few years up until 2028. Just take a look at that. This massive drop after 2023 shows how bad it's going to get. The standard of living in the UK is going down the drain. And take a look at this. If you wanted to rent a 1-bedroom flat in suburban London, not even in central London, it will cost you 2.2k per month. Honestly, how can anyone afford this? Because the average salary in the UK per year after tax is 28k. And if you're renting a 1-bedroom flat, you would only have £130 per month left over for everything else. So no wonder so many people are in debt. Taxes are likely to go up, inflation is at an all-time high, and rent prices are unaffordable. There are so many different countries around the world where you can have a good standard of living. So why would you choose to live in the UK? It's already the second most unequal country in the world. Because honestly, if you stay in the UK now, it's just going to get so much worse. And yes, all countries do have their problems, but the way I see it, the UK is finished, and it's not getting better anytime soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like the video, follow for more content.
We struggle now, our children will only struggle more.
I'll probably be with my parents till I marry, unfortunately.
Food.
Probably food. Prices keep going up and the sizing keeps going down.
I would say second-hand cars. They've become the same price as brand new cars.
Say Uber Eats,
delivery.
Shopping at Woolworths and Coles. They just add to rob us.
Getting your nails done.
Rent.
Rent.
Might have to even do 2 or 3 jobs to cover our rents.
We share a room and it's still quite a lot.
Houses.
It's definitely land. Ridiculous pricing now.
Transport.
Petrol is ridiculous. Technology for me.
Dinner, drinks out.
Entertainment.
Alcoholic beverages are an optional extra that is no longer something that we put into what we do.
Too expensive.
Packet of chips from Woolworths, Coles, any supermarket.
I stopped eating meat only because it's too expensive for me.
Fish.
Definitely eating out.
Just labour costs, it's exorbitant.
Furniture's
feeling more expensive to live in general.
Being alive. Food, water, a roof over your head.
People still paying for their nails and fat removal and new clothes. We're not that poor yet. Labor costs? Haha, right mate. Corporate price gouging that the government won't tax.
I am nearly 27 years old and today I am moving back in with my parents. This is not the plan I had for 27-year-old me, but that is just how bad the rental crisis is at the moment. I've been living on my own for the last 3 years. When I first started living on my own, I was paying $280 a week in rent. It was actually kind of fine to pay rent on my own, and I've never had an outstanding salary. The reason why I'm moving back in with my parents is because my landlord wanted to increase my rent now to $450 a week. Now, I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment in an old building. It's nothing flash. Sure, I live in a good suburb. I live in Malvern. I'm probably just paying for location, but I have to pay to do my laundry. There's cracks in the walls. It's nothing flashy. It's not worth $450 a week. That's $2,000 a month. What are people supposed to do? I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful that I can move back in with my parents, but not everyone can do that. So what's your alternative? You're homeless? The thing that really grinds my gears is that I am 99% sure that my landlord does not have a mortgage on this place, so that can't even be an excuse for landlords on here. She's owned this place since about 1980, and I know for a fact she has 2 investment properties. So she's just making money off what she can from the market. And I was like, there is no way I can afford this. And I have been an outstanding tenant, outstanding. Rent's never been late. My inspections are always absolutely spotless. I've never caused any issues. And this is why my generation can't get ahead, why we can't buy houses. I've been paying 20 grand a year in rent. But if I went to go get a house loan, they wouldn't see that as, oh, she can pay 20 grand a year. No, I have no savings because of how much I've been paying in rent and bills. That's why my parents were like, move home, save that money and try and get ahead. I'm so grateful. I love my family and I don't have any issues moving back home with them. I do have an issue with the fact that they live over the other side of Geelong and I'm still going to be travelling to Melbourne for work. So that's going to be so much fun. But what do people do? I'm so lucky I have such a great family that I can move back in with, but what's the alternative? Homelessness? The government really needs to get on top of this because, honestly, the state of the rental market at the moment is absolutely fucked.
I'm a divorced 51-year-old postman, paying maintenance for 2 teenage children. I have no choice but to live with my parents. Definitely emasculating.
I saw a lady in her mid-20s dressed in nice corporate wear pull out her blanket and go to sleep in the middle of Brisbane City yesterday.
LOL, the people saying skipping coffee will get you a deposit. In about 348 years maybe.
27? I'm 34 and have 80,000 saved up for a deposit. Still not enough to get a house.
I just don't want to do this anymore. It's so cold in here, as you can see. I'm wrapped up in a duvet. My son's got 3 different layers on just to try and stay warm because it's so cold in here.
Watching that woman's video broke my heart this morning. She said she had to choose between gas and electric. And she ended up choosing electric because she needed to cook for her children to eat. And that the gas, she couldn't afford it. So she was literally freezing and shaking in that video, as you can see. And people are going through a lot in the UK right now. It's not even a joke. It is not a joke. Especially when you live in these old houses that were built ages ago. The insulation is bad. I remember when I moved to the UK, I lived in such a house, so renting a proper house was difficult. And Ariella was one, and my son, I was pregnant with my son then. I would hold Ariella shivering like this in front of the heater. The heater is on, but we are still shivering. It's not, the cold was too much. It's not like these houses where we live now, like where I live now. These are one of the newer homes that have been built, well insulated. I use only electric in my house. And when I put on my electric heater, 1 hour, it can last me even the whole night. I don't sleep with heating. My kids sleep with heating. The other day, I loaded 100 pounds on my electric meter. And I had cooked that night. I did washing. And then I left my children's heater till morning. By morning, the money had dropped to 60 pounds. I was like, 40 pounds in a day. How are people managing?
I love how we're all calling daylight robbery by our government's cost of living crisis.
In Alberta, Canada, it's against the law to disconnect gas and electric from November to April. Everyone is choosing food over gas bills.